Hi, I'm Queen of Wrestling, and today you're watching my interview with Kevin Martenson. Thank you so much for doing this.
Not a problem. So we're just holding these guys like right here?
Yeah. Okay, so my first question for you
is... got a list?
Yeah. My first question is, what made you want to be a wrestler?
Actually, it's all I ever wanted to do as far back as I could think. My first actual memory was when I was 6. I didn't even know what wrestling was. I hadn't even seen it on TV. But I had gotten my first Nintendo, and my grandma took me to the store to get a new game, and they had a game that was called Pro Wrestling, and I didn't even know what it meant. And we were just asking the guy, or my grandma was asking the guy working there, what type of game that he thought would be good for me. And he pointed that one out, and I was like, that looks really dumb. He was explaining to me what it was. It sounds even dumber. But then I got it. I just fell in love with pro wrestling after that. And then when I found out that it was a real thing on TV, as soon as I saw it, that was it. And ever since then, that's what I wanted to do, and just never grew out of it.
So you were like, this is it. You found the video game, and you're like, this is
pretty much ever since I was 6. So being a video game nerd early on is pretty much what led me here today.
So where did you train at?
I trained at UPW in El Segundo. It's not there anymore, but that's where John Cena came from there, Victoria. A couple other cool people before I got there. It was much different by the time I got there, but the training was still excellent. Really good place to learn.
So what inspired the Rock Ness Monsters?
The name, as strange as this sounds, actually came from a vision that I had. I just woke up one morning, I was like, wait a second. Because me and Yuma became friends pretty much right after he started training. I was about 2 years in. He was just starting at the same school. And he stopped, came back at a different school, and then we kind of met up again a couple years later. Started teaming. And I think it was more him than me probably in the beginning that wanted to be a team. So he kept pushing it for this one place we were wrestling at, and then they finally agreed. And they just had some dumb name for it. They did the thing I hate absolute most in wrestling when it comes to tag teams, is when they just take two guys and take part of their name and part of the other person's name and just put it together to make a team name that doesn't even make sense.
Like Dash and Dawson.
Well, that's okay because it's just their names, but when it's God, I can't even think of one now, but there's so many right now, they just put a word that has to do with one of the people and then the word that has to do with the other one and just smush them together instead of actually thinking of a team name for them. They did that with us. I was I don't want to keep doing that. So then he was doing the rock and roll thing, I was doing the video game thing. Rock, NES, Nintendo. I can't even really take credit for it, I guess. It just kind of popped in my head while I was asleep.
You were like, this is it, this is where I'm going. So what was it like wrestling in Vermin?
It was great. That actually got me to come back to the company. I left Championship Wrestling from Hollywood for a little bit. And then Yuma was telling me he was doing that, and that got me to come back. I think... No, I hadn't gotten hurt yet. That was when I was already back. But, he was doing it. It sounded really fun. I wanted to be a part of it. Loved the NWO, so anything that was similar to that, of course, jump at the chance to be a part of
a faction, a badass faction.
Yeah, just a bunch of idiots causing trouble and being annoying. It was perfect. Yeah, I had a great time. We did that for 3 years, I think. A lot of fun, a lot of good matches, lots of cool guys. I mean, anytime you're actually doing stuff with your friends, that makes it so much easier and so much better.
Because it's not even a job or you're working, you're just having fun and hanging out.
Exactly. Look forward to doing it. Never got old, never got boring. Hopefully we bring it back someday, maybe, who knows.
What's the difference between wrestling and PWG to bar to Championship Wrestling from Hollywood?
Bar is probably the closest thing that I've done to it. Maybe a little more, I don't know if fun is the right word. Maybe less stressful. PWG was, for anyone who started around the same time I did, I'm sure even now too, that was one of the ultimate goals for anyone that wrestles in SoCal, is to get on PWG. It's the best of the best, not from just here, but from pretty much everywhere around the world. So you want to get there, but then with it, it comes like
Stress.
to me anyway. There's a lot of stress and just pressure because like every match they're expected to just like every match should be the best match on the card every single time. So there's a lot of high expectations for all that. But I mean, it's great. Like, it really makes you push yourself. I had definitely some of my favorite matches ever there. And as far as the talent goes, I think Bar is very similar to that, but maybe like a little more lighthearted and not so intense as far as like you have to go out there and like kill yourself every single time just to get your spot on the next show. Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, more of a TV show, so the wrestling style is a little bit different. Just as far as like you actually have like specific times you have to stick to, and you can't go over else it screws up the rest of the time. So there's not quite as much freedom there, but it's definitely my favorite like looking wrestling that I've done as far as the production value and like excellent cameras, and setup is really good. We got that new ramp and the entrance and everything. So as far as like looks wise, that's probably the best place I've ever been. As far as just show quality, PWG, and then this is kind of like a little bit of everything.
Yeah. So what made you and Yuma decide to develop the gimmick into Space Cops opposed to the original gimmick?
I definitely have to give him most of the credit on that one. So we both quit wrestling. Mm-hmm. Me at the end of 2016 and him, I think like the middle of 2017. So I was out for over a year. He was out for about a year. Somehow, seemingly like instantly after I decided not to do it anymore, wrestling became like as popular as ever around here. I don't know what happened. Wrestling just became cool. I don't know where these like all these new fans came from all of a sudden, but like it's completely different just in the last year or so. Mm-hmm. So I was sitting at home kind of being bitter about that and seeing how much fun everyone else was having, but I was still like, nah, like, I'm done. I did it for long enough. And him stopping made that easier too. And like right around the same time, we're both like, it looks like too much fun now. Like we got to get back into it. As far as the actual space thing, like we just want to do something different. Especially me, that's like all the years I've been doing this, like I try not to do the same stuff over and over again. Like I always try to, for better or for worse, try to change things up. Always try something new. We don't want to just come back as like a retread of the same old thing. I think people were kind of getting sick of us anyway towards the end, so I didn't want to like just, hey, remember these guys?
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much the turnover was in fans. Like I didn't realize it was going to be completely new crowds pretty much for a lot of places, but we just want to try something new. We're both pretty weird, so it was like, what's the most like off the wall thing that doesn't make any sense at all that we could possibly do, and like actually like have it translate over into wrestling. Yeah. We just started talking and brainstorming, and I'm sure as you learned from talking to him, he kind of likes Star Wars.
Yeah.
And Blade Runner, so like we wanted to do something just kind of out there and spacey like that. Mm-hmm. And that was the beginning of it, and then it was just like, now how like absurd can we make this? And we're not even close to get like if either one of us had more money, we probably would have taken this much further by now, but there's a lot of things we're working on. We're just trying to keep advancing with that. Also, we're both older now, so it's might be time to like
slow it down.
Try to focus more on the character stuff than going out there and killing ourselves too much.
So what is a dream tag match for you? Who's a team you'd really love to go against?
We've been talking about this one forever, and I don't even know if we have a real answer for why it's them, but we want to wrestle the Headbangers so bad.
Really?
Yeah,
There's no reason? Or is there like a childhood reason? Like
growing up, I was watching them. He didn't start watching wrestling till after, but I was watching them. I always thought they were cool back then. And then like when Yuma started seeing like old stuff of them, he was a big fan. Just one of those teams, like they were always cool. They were different, and they just I didn't realize that they just never went away. Like, they're still out there, they're still going.
Yeah.
So I figured, as long as they're still doing it, let's try to. I mean, obviously, my favorite tag team of all time would be the Hart Foundation, but that was really never a realistic option. So I guess things that we could actually make happen.
I mean, now
Headbangers.
it kind of really wouldn't be an option now with everything that's happened.
I wasn't even thinking that, but thanks for reminding me.
I
about
know,
how
I was really sad
I
when
am.
that happened. I'm sorry. So how do you feel about PWG currently? And do you think guys like you, Yuma, Joey, Peter all had some influence to it / the hype in it?
To be honest, I haven't really seen any of this stuff since I left. I'll see like pictures and clips, like little things like here and there on like Instagram and stuff, but the new venue looks amazing. Like, that's one thing that I really wish we would have had back then, because as much as I loved wrestling there, that building was the worst.
Yeah, it was really small.
Like, it's one of those things, like, it was cool because it's intimate, like, you're really interacting with the fans. It's kind of like a precursor to bar, whereas like they're like pressed like right up against the ring.
Yeah.
And, like, that part of it was cool, but like the actual building itself, like, it was the hottest place I've ever been in my entire life, and then have to go out there and not only perform but like go like above and beyond.
Yeah.
And then like on top of that be like more stressed than you ever are. It's like before I even go out, like you're like, I'm already anxious, my heart's already like pounding, and then so I'm already tired before I even like walk through the curtain. And then you're out there and everybody's breathing on you, and then you have to do all this stuff. But the new place looks great. I don't know if from the pictures, it looks like the coolest indie wrestling venue I've ever seen. And as far as I could tell, they just keep getting better and better. The talent keeps getting better and better. It's evolving to like the stuff I like. From what the little bit I've seen, like it just seems like stuff like I couldn't even keep up with it anymore. But that's just how things go. Everything just keeps progressing. I'd love to go back.
I'd like to see you guys go against the Little Rascals right now. Desmond Xavier and Zachary Wins.
Yeah, I haven't seen their stuff, but those are two guys like I hear a lot of really good things about. Walter, he seems a little terrifying. But his partner Tim Thatcher, like, I've known him for years. We've wrestled a bunch of times. Like, he's super cool. So if Walter's anything like them, like, that would be a really fun match to have. As long as Yuma's the one getting chopped.
You actually got to work with Lucha Underground as Son of Madness. What was that like, and what was the best part of that for you?
It was really cool. It was surprising that it happened. I had a little tryout thing with them. I think it was right before they shot season 2, and like just nothing came out of it. So before they were about to do season 3, I figured like just might as well take a chance, send them some stuff, a couple of short matches just to see if there was anything. And they got back to me like pretty quick, and they said they had an idea. I didn't know what it was. I didn't find out what it was until I was actually there, like for the first day to have my first match as Son of Madness. So that was a little stressful, like not even having any idea. Then you just show up there like, oh yeah, by the way, so you're gonna do exactly what Son of Havoc does, just a little different. And I had never worn a mask before. I hadn't worn boots in like 12 years, so just getting used to that stuff was pretty hard. But it was fun. It was short, but I guess for sure the street fight that we had was like that was probably one of my favorite matches I've ever had.
Vermin at one point had every Belden Championship wrestling from Hollywood. You were the United Television Champion. Who did you enjoy going against for that belt? And do you think you guys holding all the gold at one point cemented you as one of the best factions of that organization?
I think it led to the best picture that I've ever been a part of. The one that you just posted the other day?
Yeah.
Yesterday. Yeah, it was fun. Like I think it was just the right timing for everybody. It's one of those things where like they have the most hated guys in the company. Like, let's give them all the titles, make people hate them even more. And I think it worked. And it was cool for me because it led to some of my favorite matches that I've had. Peter Avalon, Scorpio Sky, two of the best wrestlers I've ever known, and I got to wrestle them pretty regularly during that time. Let's see, who else was there? I remember I enjoyed I enjoyed most of that time. Just trying to think of anything specific besides Peter and Sky for sure. Those are two of the ones that stand out the most as far as stuff that I enjoyed, people that I enjoyed wrestling. But that whole thing was fun. Was that even your question?
And finally, word of advice for anyone who wants to be a wrestler or work in that industry.
Let's see. As far as out here, I guess, Peter runs the championship from Hollywood School. I think that's in Sherman Oaks or somewhere around there. Santino Brothers, that's always around. Good training there, especially Los Luchas. I think they still have a class there. Phoenix Star and Zocre, like, as far as teams we've wrestled, maybe my favorite team that we've ever wrestled. Just always had good matches with them. Excellent guys, excellent trainers. I guess I don't keep up with like the scene as much right now as far as like where to train, who's good or not, but for sure Santino's, specifically Los Luchas, I don't know who else they have there. If Brian Kendrick is still doing it, he's a mastermind. You can't learn from someone better than him. And then if you don't mind the LA traffic, you got Peter's school. There may be I don't know if I should be saying this in public so soon, but there may be a Rockness school coming in maybe the beginning of next year. More inland somewhere, San Bernardino. Oh, speaking of San Bernardino, EWF, Jesse Hernandez school. another excellent one. I'm not sure who trains there, but if Jesse puts them in charge, they're good. Like he knows.
I mean, Ryan Taylor's trained there.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, so.
Does he teach there, do you know?
I don't think so. I just talked to him about it. He's like, yeah, I trained there. And I was like, makes sense. You're so good.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a lot of good guys that come out of there. So yeah, as far as I know, Hollywood School with Peter, EWF with whoever. Again, Jesse's running it. He's going to have someone good in charge. Santino's, maybe us. But I think now more than ever would be the best time to get into it. Like if you really want to be a wrestler, like there's so many more opportunities now.
Yeah, and all the talent and the promotions.
Yeah, there's so many more ways to like get yourself out there with social media. And again, just like I said earlier, it just seems like there's some indie boom that I can't explain. I don't understand it. I don't know where it came from or why it happened now, but like it's more popular than ever. So yeah, now would be a great time to start if you really want to do it. Check out any of those schools. I kind of wish I could. If there's any way for this to be possible, I kind of wish I could go back and start right now, but be 15 years younger. But yeah, man, now's the time to do it and get on shows like this eventually.